Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly Coven Summoning. My name is Ilsa.
And my name is Stacy.
And we're Caffeine and Conjuring,
a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
If you've been following along with our episodes, we just finished reading Book 2 of Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass in the publication order, which is Crown of Midnight. And what a ride it has been so far.
I don't know if I've fully processed yet.
What an ending.
Yep.
That's by far one of my favorite endings of fantasy books, like, ever.
Yeah, it's like my history with reading fantasy isn't super deep. Like I've read all of the big ones, but when I compare endings to like big reactions or like big cliffhangers, ever since reading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, that's what I compare endings to now, because Rebecca Yarros just like, she does not shy away from dropping a bomb on you in like the last paragraph of her books. So this to me was like to the same level. It wasn't like a big cliffhanger, but it was just a really big bomb just dropped on everything that you thought you knew about the last two books that we just read.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, oh, what the fuck? Where is this going?
So talking about that ending, before we get further into this episode discussing everything Crown of Midnight, beware of spoilers. Make sure that you've read Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight before listening to this episode, or everything will be spoiled for you. Everything.
Literally. Literally everything. Well, I guess we could start out with a brief recap if you want to give us the little rundown of what Crown of Midnight was.
So, Calaena Sardothien, a notorious assassin turned king's champion, is tasked with eliminating her former friend, Archer Finn, who is suspected of rebellion. But Calaena soon uncovers a web of deadly secrets and sinister plots, with the Glass Castle forcing her to confront her hidden past and question her loyalties. When tragedy strikes, she must embrace her destiny and figure out the king's evil plans, all while navigating a dangerous love triangle and battling dark forces. With magic, betrayal, and a shocking revelation about her true identity, Calaena's journey is just beginning. Oh,
there was a lot in this book to unpack.
There was.
Like, I want to say, like, even so much as all the characters, but I feel like really the only character that had a lot of development was Dorian.
Yeah.
I think, but we'll dive more into that.
This book just opened up for the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a little bit more backstory, a little more kind of info dumping, a little bit of plot thrown in there, and then it just opens up what the rest of the series is going to be.
Yeah. Well, Throne of Glass, really all we got was the castle. Yeah. Like, that was really the whole setting for Throne of Glass. Now with Crown of Midnight, we're getting more into Rifthold. We're getting more characters from beyond Rifthold coming in. Yeah. And now we're going beyond Rifthold. So there was definitely a lot more happening in this book.
So what were your initial reactions to the book?
Oh, well, I mean, you've seen my initial reaction. Oh.
And the rest of you can see it too, because by the time this episode is posted, there'll be a nice little video on our social media of her reaction.
It's so embarrassing.
It's so good.
Yeah, that definitely made it worth it listening to the audio on our little road trip.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to get it on video so I can relive it.
Rereading this book again because I was like you, I didn't figure it out. I didn't catch on to the thousands of Easter eggs and hints to the ending.
I wish, like, I want to go back now and read the 2 books again, just so I can try to pick up on some of those Easter eggs.
If you listen back to our episodes, a lot of the stuff I highlighted were Easter eggs to that. And I kind of emphasized them a little bit, but I didn't want to do it too much. But I'm just like, yeah, this right here.
Maybe that was what, like, subtly got me to click into who she was. I know it was only, like, a chapter before it was actually, or maybe it was the chapter. I don't even remember, but yeah. Do you remember, like, what your initial reaction was when you found out? Like, did you feel like you were...
So I was
like, you should have picked up?
I was reading it on my Kindle, and literally I didn't even clue in the chapter before. It was like the chapter, and I read the line, and my Kindle went flying across the room. I scared the crap out of the dogs, and like everything just went crazy. I was just like,
oh my
what
God.
the actual fuck? How did I not see it? Like, it makes sense once you realize, and then you're just, oh, yeah, it definitely makes you feel like an idiot.
So when you read this series, like, were you aware of the other characters that would come in later? Like, did you know that Aelin was a character to come into it, or...
So I knew
were you just reading
Aelin
this?
was a character. I didn't know at the time who she was.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest spoilers I got, like, right away before I started the series was Sam, and
Right.
a couple other things later on in the series.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those involving Aelin. So I had no idea who Aelin was. I'm just like, wonder when we're gonna meet her.
So now the spoiler is a little more spoilery because you now know. Yeah. So, like, going into this book, fresh out of Throne of Glass into Crown of Midnight, did your opinion of the book change at all from the beginning to the end? Or, like, did any characters or any of the plot, like, really surprise you other than the obvious who Calaena is? But
all I remember from the first time reading it was that all I wanted out of the second book was for Calaena and Dorian to get back together.
Nope. Dorian, I think, has well moved on. Yeah. And knowing that they are distantly related puts a little bit of a damper on that now.
I mean, if the Targaryens can do it, they can do it. You gotta keep that bloodline pure.
True, I guess. Very true.
How about yourself? How were your impressions then versus now?
I think it was still very much like the same. I mean, obviously, I'm not bringing in the whole Calaena being Aelin thing. Like, that was obviously a big surprise. It was supposed to be, but not looking at that. I think the biggest thing that would have, like, really surprised me
Nehemia
was, killing off Nehemia. Because I really went into this book thinking, like, this is it. Nehemia is going to be, like, you know, my favorite character. She's such a badass. She's just wants to free her people. And then it's just like, okay.
I didn't sign up for the emotional damage.
Nope.
I wasn't expecting to ugly cry when reading this book, and now I've cried both times.
I wish I didn't get that spoiler because I think it would have, you know, definitely hit harder.
Yeah.
But I also feel like the way that scene was written, it was very well written, but there was so much action happening.
Yeah.
Like, there was just so much happening in that scene. Like, even if I didn't know going into it that she was dead. I still don't think it would have hit me quite the same until maybe after.
Yeah.
Because there was just a lot to process through that whole scene. It was a lot happening.
Yeah, Kale was kidnapped, the big fight happened, she's racing to the palace, and then everyone's dead.
Yeah, it's just like a really big whirlwind. Like, it's just a tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if... It probably would have been after, like, when Celaena's grieving, that it probably would have hit me the hardest. Because she goes through that whole, like not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to do anything. She's like, really in her feels, rightfully so. But I think that's probably when it would have hit me the most. Ooh, let's do some character deep dives.
Absolutely.
Celaena kind of underwhelmed me a little at the start of this book. Throne of Glass, we really see her be this, like, badass. She's coming back. She's getting back into her, like, her strength and all that from being a slave in the salt mines. So we see that character development from Celaena throughout that book. But in this book, I feel like she almost takes a step backward at the start. When she's assassinating for the king, but she's not really assassinating them. She's like, how do I word this? How does she expect to be getting away with this? That is basically my thought on this. Is she is this, like, supposedly, like, this epic, infamous assassin. Like, she's a smart girl. We already know that. We got all that at the start of the series. Yeah. But now she is, like, beating up heads to make them look, you know, like, you can't tell who it is. Unidentified.
She's a very, like, contradictory character.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting a lot at the start of this. Like how does she expect for this to go on for too long? Like, how? I don't know. Maybe the king is just stupid as shit. I don't know. But hold on, I've got a little bit wrote up, but
well, she even, like, goes, but, like, she'll be shopping and buying nice clothes and jewelry and books, and then she's back into assassin mode, and she's fighting so intently that she can't control her power. Mm-hmm. Like, she's very back and forth. She, like, oscillates between selfless and selfish very frequently.
Yeah.
Ooh, oscillates. That was a big word for me.
Look at us. We sound so sophisticated. And really, 90% of the time, we're just talking about dick. Anyways. But, like, how she gets on with Nehemia, and we talked about it, I think it was, like, maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago. Like, she was really selfish.
Yeah.
Like, not wanting to help Nehemia with, you know, her goals, her, you know, wanting to free her people. And it took Nehemia's death for Celaena to finally be like, yeah, let's, you know, I'm going to go save her people now.
Yeah.
But with that being said, she does have that big reveal at the end where she's Aelin and we find out that she's Fae, and she just unleashes. Yeah. Like, there's just so much power there. So I am excited to see where Celaena goes from there. Wasn't too pleased with her starting out in this book, just because I felt like she took a step backward at some point. But
I can't wait to get your thoughts on Celaena after reading Assassin's Blade.
Oh my god, I started it I started it.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not far, so I don't have a whole lot to go off of yet, but I definitely feel that there's just typical 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you feel about Calaena in this book compared to the first one?
Very conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very conflicted in my thoughts for at this point in the series. Like you were saying, like, her selfishness really took a toll on her likability in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that she's experienced such tremendous loss, but it shouldn't have taken Nehemia dying for her to embrace her identity and her power and finally want to do the good.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Oh, I got all that out in a coherent sentence. It was one of those moments where you're like trying to piece it together and your brain is just like, words, all the words.
It's like the magnets with the individual words, and your brain is like just trying to pick out these magnets and form a sentence.
Yeah.
That is how I feel 90% of the time when I'm trying to get a sentence out. How did we feel about Kale in this book? Because I feel like he was pretty heavy into the story.
The handsome, bronze-eyed captain of the guard.
Ooh. Yep.
I have to just stick to this book. He did start infuriating me in this book.
Oh.
Little bits, and I know it's kind of reflected on my thoughts later in the series, but seeing things that are kind of pointing in that direction is already giving me the ick.
Oh no. My boy.
But like, he did have redeeming qualities that I forgot about in my first read through that makes me like him more overall, including the whole series.
Oh.
One of those big things being the way he ran in after Fleetfoot through the portal. Like,
yes. We love a main male character who will sacrifice himself to save the dog.
Yeah, he just went full John Wick through the portal, and I was here for it. And it gave him some desperately needed brownie points in my eyes.
Yeah, I feel like his character development was absolutely zero.
Yeah.
Okay, no, maybe a 1 or 2. Because he did start prioritizing Calaena over his guard duties. He did start doing that, which was a big plus. Yeah. But he was still very much I have to do what I'm told, which part of me understands because of what he has given up. Like, he gave up his whole life back in, what is it called? Aniel?
Aniel, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, his whole family thing is just shit.
So it's not like your family when you gave up your title.
Yeah. So, like, but, this is his life now. This is what he gave everything up to do. So I understand to a degree that he wants to do everything that he can to succeed in this role because that is what he needs to do. Right. But now that Calaena is into the picture, he's tossing it all up. Like, he's not sure. He's starting to question things about the king, which I think, there is character development there, but
I actually have one of my Kale quotes that I have to bring up today kind of fits into this, but The king kept things from him. There were so many secrets, and perhaps he was a little more than a puppet, part of the illusion that he was starting to see through.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He self-destructed that relationship. Just picking duty over love, and that just did it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I feel like I don't know, like I love Kale. Like I do really like his character. I loved him right from the start. And I know most people don't agree with me, but that's, whatever. But I feel like Sarah is doing him dirty by not delving more into his character.
Oh, we get
like
much more of his character in the coming books. Don't you worry. We get a whole book. A whole book just dedicated to Kale.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Do you want...
I know you're not.
Do you want kind of a little spoiler? Not really a spoiler, but kind of a spoiler.
Sure.
So, Tower of Dawn is Kale's book.
Oh.
And everyone suggests doing the tandem read, because otherwise you get a really exciting book with all the main characters, or you get a less exciting book with Kale.
You know what? I don't care. I'm going to love it, okay?
There's a moment in that book, and I can't wait to read it as a tandem, because you don't piece the timeline together so much when you do it separately. But when you're reading it together, and I've seen that scene put together on TikTok, and you're just like, what the fuck, Kale? It was just uncanny, the timing of these two things happening, and we're just like,
oh god, I'm so excited. Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, back to Kale in this book. Him and Calaena kind of had some similar characteristics in this one for me, because like we were talking about with Calaena, it took Nehemia dying before she embraced her identity and wanted to fight evil, but it took Kale losing Calaena's trust and losing her before he could see clearly and see that the king is evil and he fucked up and he needs to change basically his entire outlook on everything.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about the fact that Kale is supposedly really good at his job, right? Right? He's supposed to be super good at his job. So how the hell did he get kidnapped?
Falls for an assassin, hides stuff from the king, saves the assassin on multiple occasions when she was basically being a traitor. Gets caught, gets kidnapped, gets manipulated so much by everybody. But he's the captain of the guard.
Yep. Explain it to me, please. There is some comparisons between him and Dorian, though, I find. Both of their relationships with their fathers being douchebags, for one.
Yeah.
They're both, the good guys. They have good intentions, but they tend to not go about it in a great way. And they are both really held back by fear and their inner strengths. Both of them are pretty bad for that. But Dorian out of all the characters in this book, I think had the best character development.
Yeah.
He went from being such a, like, fuckboy to, like, really holding his own with his father. And, I mean, there's still a lot of lying, keeping things from people. I think I cannot wait to get more of his perspective.
Oh, me too.
Because he goes through a lot in this book. And, like, I think we really delve into him being lonely.
Yeah.
That seems to be the biggest thing for Dorian, is how alone he feels.
And then finding out he had magic didn't help that, because he couldn't tell
No.
anyone. So that, like, singled him out even more and just emphasized that he has no one.
Yeah. The one person that, like, he, I think, would have, like, he tried to tell or tried to connect with about it was Nehemia. And now she's dead, and yeah. But, like, I don't understand why all three of them keeping things from each other and, like, trying to do shit on their own when the three of them have the same goal in mind.
Yeah.
Like, these 2 books could have been condensed down to, like, 5 chapters. If they all just fucking talked. But yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes. How do you feel about Dorian with this book? Did it do him justice, or we just didn't get enough? That's how I feel.
Nothing's gonna do him justice quite yet. Like, I always liked Dorian at this point, but you don't get, like, the, oh my god, until later. Like,
dang it.
So much happens, and new characters are brought in, and his story is so good. And he is the perfect little princeling.
Oh, I can't wait. I just feel like, I don't know, with Kale and Dorian, that this book, she could have did better with their characters. Like, I feel like the miscommunication is just a little too strong.
Too much, and with every character. It wasn't just like here or there.
Yeah, literally every character was keeping secrets, hiding things, doing things on their own when they could very easily have been all 3 of them teamed up together, one goal in mind. That would have been insane.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about the villains?
Oh, Archer.
Yeah, he was quite the character. I thought he was going to be a good guy. Or at least like a morally gray character that we could have rooted for, but he went and fucked that up, didn't he?
Yeah, he is, he's something else. I don't even know where to begin with him.
No. I feel like we got a lot of information on him, but not at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like we get the history between him and Calaena, but was it memorable? Not for me.
Yeah, all I remember about, like, his character and his backstory is that he's frequently described as being handsome and muscular and beautiful.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
And I kind of remember something about him being an orphan.
Oh. Could be the connection that helped connect him and Calaena's. Yeah. What about the king? What did we learn with this book? I know we finally got like real confirmation that he was indeed evil as shit. Because we finally got a like his point of view where it really confirmed everything.
Yeah. He possesses magic and he uses it to maintain his power. He suppresses the magic of others. He creates creatures. And he holds at least 2 word keys.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Yep. I still don't know where it's going.
Yeah, he has had no redeeming or sympathetic qualities. Because, like, Calaena had some. Archer,
Yeah.
like, you do feel a little bit bad just because of his backstory. The king has nothing.
No. No. No, and I have zero inkling on where it's going from here with him, and it's kind of scary too.
Yeah.
Not knowing like what the real end goal is for him. Like, I mean, we get the big picture of it, but and we end this book and we still don't really know where Parrington and Calaena and Roland fit into everything.
Yeah.
They're off to the Calacola mines. Is that where they're to now?
No, they're gone to the mountains. The volcanic mountains. I can't remember the name right now,
yeah.
But
is it the wolf something? No.
Morath.
Is it the White Fang Mountains?
Morath.
Where's Morath?
I think you looked before and it didn't show it on the map yet, or you couldn't find it.
Shit. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, him, Calaena, and Parrington are all gone to Morath. I know what happens.
Yeah, but you have to pretend you don't. Roland, I'm still like...
He could go either way at this point.
Yeah, exactly. He seems like he's really trying to be buddy-buddy with Dorian. And I don't know if that's just to... words are escaping me. You know, like negative, or if it's a positive.
Yeah. Like, we know he has a ring along with Parrington the King, but we don't know if it's the same kind of ring that Parrington and the King have, or if it's a ring like what Cain and Calaena had. So he could be very well be controlled, or he might be part of the whole plot. Or just along for the ride.
Yeah. Yep. I want more with Calaena. Because I still think that there's something more there with her. But yeah, we don't really have a whole lot more to go off of for like Parrington with this book.
Yeah.
How did you find like the pacing and the structure?
The pacing was a little slower for this one, but that's like second book fantasy syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I always find the second book of a series slower.
I think I found it the opposite.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I found this one a little faster pace than the first one. Maybe not so much like the very beginning, but
I feel like the very beginning of this book, like the first 35-40% kind of really dragged.
Yeah.
And then it was fully action-packed in the second half, but that first half, and when you're reading a big fantasy series, like, spread out the slowness a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the way they did it, like, Nehemiah's death could have happened a little sooner to kind of space out the big things that were happening. And I did
Yeah.
find there was like a little bit of filler in there that could have expanded that scene so it wasn't such a clusterfuck of action happening.
Yep. Yep. It was a lot. The dominoes just kept falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then looking back at the first book, when you look at the pacing of it, especially like you said, that last half of the book, it really made the first book seem even slower, looking at it like in that aspect. And I mean, the pacing for Throne of Glass, it was great. It was very well, I found. So
Yeah, the reading for our second episode for this book was definitely the slowest I found it. So chapters 10 to 19 were like, I had to sit there and like force myself to concentrate.
yeah, I can get that, especially with like a second read through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her world building was a little more advanced with this one. We get a lot more happening, learning a lot more. We learn more about Rifthold and the Calcula mines. We learn more about the witches. I just felt it was very immersive, and the way that we find out things is like as Calaena is finding them out.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Do you have anything else you want to say about world building?
I don't think so. I like the visuals we got from this book and the information we got about even just like Rifthold as a city itself, and you can kind of picture. I could picture it a little bit better, and
I read the descriptions.
But even just not necessarily the right word, but you'll get the idea. But like the lore that came out in this book to their world, like we got a lot more of that, which was nice. And slowly finding like more information about the Fae, like when Calaena was underneath the library, and the murals on the wall that depicted different things in the past with the Fae, and it could be foreshadowing, it might not be.
Who knows? Not me. Yeah, there was a lot more with this book than the first, and which is great because the first book drew you into the main characters, and now this book is drawing you into the world.
Yeah.
Themes? Oh my goodness. Do we want to talk about themes?
Sure. Get a little bit in there. The only ones I can think of, like, offhand are loss and, like, honesty and deception.
Yeah. Loss was a big one, I think, because it really got into it with all of them. Like, they all had a lot of loss.
Yeah, all their loss and all their internal turmoil, and the lack of being able to deal with that inner turmoil.
Oh my god.
Until something really big happens.
Yep. But also, and I keep going back to it, is loyalty and the lack of loyalty.
Yeah.
Is another big theme in this, because like Kale being loyal to the crown, but then not. But then he is, but then he's not. And Dorian is, I don't even know with Dorian, it's more like loyal to himself, I think.
Yeah. I think the loyalty ties in with the honesty and deception too, because they all, like all three of the main characters, well, 4 if you include Nehemia. Like, the whole miscommunication, the lies, the secrets, like, it all ties in a little annoying group.
Yep.
It's like, you're at a point where you know you can trust these people. Talk to
Exactly.
them.
Yeah. And like,
Maybe not Kale, because the whole Nehemia dying, him not telling Calaena, I can fully get why she's not telling Kale shit.
yeah.
But like her and Dorian, especially like once they figured out, like when she's seen that he had magic, like there should have been, like they are comfortable with each other. They do trust each other. They should be able to just talk more freely about these big issues.
Yeah. 100%.
Even just one little conversation. Just one.
I say it all the time. Use your words.
Words are hard,
like...
Mom. Words are hard.
What else? Did you find that her writing style had changed in this book compared to the first one?
Slightly.
Mm.
It's more so, and it's like her writing style not ages but matures, like as Celaena's maturing, so it works out nicely.
Yeah, that's what, because I went into Throne of Glass with that in my head that she wrote this at 16. I wasn't expecting Throne of Glass to be like a masterpiece, because I kept saying to myself, this is written by a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can't really say that because it went through editors. It was, refined, etc., etc. And she wasn't 16 when she actually finished and published the book, right? But I felt like I still didn't really see much of a difference between book 1 and book 2. So, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's not like book 2, reads like a 16-year-old wrote it. I'm not saying that. I just mean that book 1 was still so well written to me that book 2 is still following that same. But I do understand you saying that it feels like there's a bit more maturity here in the writing.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little more getting comfortable into the fantasy genre too, because like we talked about the world building, but there's also like natural flow of world building where it didn't feel like it had to be forced to put in there, whereas the first one just lacked so much world building. So not only did more get added, but it was just so well put, where some stuff that was in the first book was just kind of like, that could have been either explained better or done a little bit differently. I didn't get that from this book. As much.
It was very organic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I found the dialogue too, I felt was a lot more engaging.
Yeah.
I think.
All the banter.
Yeah.
There was so much banter in this book. I was loving it.
She put a lot more personality into like what was being said and who was saying it.
And like it fits the character's growth as well. I don't want to discuss her other series, but she doesn't lose the character's personality while still having them grow.
Yeah.
You haven't read the book I'm thinking of yet, so I'm just like being careful of how I word things.
Okay. Okay. What book?
Well, there's only one you haven't read outside of Throne of Glass. It's Crescent City 3.
Yeah, I'm halfway done.
Okay.
Halfway. So your overall thoughts and feelings on the book. What do you think could have been improved on?
Just what I talked about earlier with the pacing at the beginning, maybe spanning out the big things that happen to make it just flow a little more nicely. And I hate to even say it, but after reading it the second time, because I initially rated it a 5-star, I might drop that to a 4.
Yeah. Right now, I'm still very much in the giddy, handing out 5 stars to every SJM book. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
But I know that if I were to reflect back on it again, that...
Yeah, going into it this time, not having that surprise at the end. Because, I mean, when I finished it the first time, oh my god, she's Aelin? 5 stars! Let's go! Yeah. And now I'm like, well, if you took out chapters like 10 to 25, it could probably be a 5-star.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
It just needed a little more.
Even if there was just like something bigger that would happen in the first half of the book. Yeah. Because like really there really wasn't much.
It was a lot of Chaol and Calaena hooking up and her just creeping on Archer.
Yeah.
Not much else.
Nope. Yep. I think overall, I very much enjoyed the book. I really liked getting a lot more of Calaena and Chaol. I just wish that we got more from Chaol and Dorian because, like I said earlier, there was just, like you could have, like, what is the difference between them? Like, yes, Dorian has magic now, but if you really look at their characters, you could swap them out and I don't know, like story-wise, there would have been no difference in anything. I just feel like there just needed to be more.
There will be.
Maybe yeah. See, that's why I just want to keep, like, I just want to read.
Yeah.
So I can get more, because right now I feel like I'm just skimming the surface.
It does kill me to think that this is going to take a year at the pace we're going for our episodes to get through the series. Like, over a year.
It's hard. We're going to look back on these episodes like a year from now and be like, wow. I'm going to be like, what the fuck was I thinking?
We're like, oh, maybe it should have been like 1 episode a month and like a book a month.
Oh, maybe. Only time will tell.
But like, it's gonna kill both of us to stop reading future books at certain points in time. Everything gets so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm like, it's killing me to not be able to jump into Heir of Fire right now. Like, I know we have to go back in time to Assassin's Blade, and it is killing me to not carry on with what happens now with Calaena, like, leaving, and Chaol leaving, and Dorian staying at the castle, Nehemia's dead. Like, I just... There's so much to happen, and we're going back to Assassin's Blade. I mean, I know I'm gonna love it anyways, like, reading Assassin's Blade. I'm just...
So do you think you would have rather read Assassin's Blade first, so you got, like, the backstory?
No, I'm happy that I didn't know the big...
Yeah.
Oh my god. Calaena's Aelin. But... yeah, I don't think I would have... I would have liked reading Assassin's Blade first. And I think I'm in the minority thinking that way. Because I've seen a lot of people say that they wish they'd started with Assassin's Blade.
And I've honestly probably seen equal of both. I've seen people that said they wish they read it third, or people that are like, I DNF the series reading Assassin's Blade first, which I feel like I would have been the same with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did find Assassin's Blade slow.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it won't feel as slow now that I know the characters better.
Mm-hmm. True. I'm excited. So I think we already went over our ratings. Like,
yeah.
You would bring yours down to a 4. I'm still staying at a solid 5. We'll revisit that once I get further into the series. But so far, everything SJM puts in, I'm just like, 5 stars, because I feel so, I don't know, so good when I finish the book. Like, just good vibes. And I love it.
For now.
I know.
The hangover we're gonna get when we're done the series, because I had it bad the first read, and it's gonna be just as bad the second time, I think.
Oh, God.
Because I think at that point, that's
rough.
when I jumped into Crescent City. I was like, I need to get out of this funk. So I did Crescent City, and of course that put me in another one.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy I read Crescent City first before this one. I don't know. Maybe, again, I might be alone in that thought, but I think if I went from this to Crescent City, I don't think I don't know. It's hard for me to say anything like that because I haven't finished Throne of Glass yet, but going from this writing to Crescent City, I think I may have thought less of Crescent City. I don't know. Maybe not.
Especially the first Crescent City, like that first half where it's so much world building. And, like, you have a big thing that happens right away, but then, like, the next half of the book is just like, in the beginning.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
It is hard to get into.
Yeah, because Throne of Glass did such a good job at easing you into the world.
Yeah.
Like I said, book 1 was more so getting you invested in the characters, and then book 2 was getting you invested in the world. Crescent City was just like, here's everything you need to know in the first, like,
300 pages.
5 chapters or whatever. Yeah, like, whoa, okay, simmer down. Let's, make it a little more organic, flow a little better. I don't know, something. But anyways, we're not doing Crescent City yet. Yeah. We don't have any questions to ask the audience.
No.
But all of our discussions on it, we would still love to know what everybody else thought of it, our listeners.
Yes.
So send us a message. Let us know your thoughts. Unless they're spoiler free, you can post them on our comments.
We want to hear all of it. Are you Team Kale or Team Dorian?
I will take that to my grave. I am Team Kale. Stubborn as shit, but I don't care.
Oh, I should have been screen recording to record this and then see if you feel that way in 5 books.
Listen, just out of pure stubbornness, I would say yes.
Alright, so a little look into the Assassin's Blade, which will be starting next week. So, Calaena Sardothien is her kingdom's most feared assassin. Though she works for the powerful and ruthless Assassins Guild, Calaena yields to no one and trusts only her fellow killer-for-hire, Sam. When Calaena's scheming master, Arabin Hamel, dispatches her on a mission that takes her from remote islands to hostile deserts, she finds herself acting independently of his wishes and questioning her own allegiance. Along the way, she makes friends and enemies alike, and discovers that she feels far more for Sam than just friendship. But by defying Arobyn's orders, Calaena risks unimaginable punishment, and with Sam by her side, he is in danger too. They will have to risk it all if they hope to escape Arobyn's clutches, and if they fail, they'll lose not just a chance at freedom, but their lives. A prequel to Throne of Glass, this collection of 5 novellas offers readers a deeper look into the history of the cunning assassin and her enthralling and deadly world. So the Assassin's Blade consists of 5 short stories. So we have The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, The Assassin and the Healer, The Assassin in the Desert, The Assassin in the Underworld, and The Assassin in the Empire.
I'm so excited to get more of the Sam era.
Oh, yeah.
I am not looking forward.
Emotional damage.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that, but I want to know more about him.
Yeah.
It's going to be really sad.
And the fan art for her and Sam, too. Ugh. It's so heartbreaking, because there's a really popular fan art of his death, and when she sees that he's dead, and oh god.
You'll have to send me fan art as we're going, so I don't get spoilers, but
my ability to send you fan art has vastly escalated since finding out that Calaena is Aelin. Because every damn fan art has the fucking fair ears.
Oh.
So I couldn't send you so many. I could only send you like the ones where her hair is down and hiding her ears.
Yeah.
Or her hood is up from the beginning. Like, there's no...
Honestly, it's sad that, like, I probably wouldn't have noticed anyways. I am not a critical thinker. I'm just here for a good time, okay?
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. If you're stuck around to finish, thank you. And we hope that you stick around for some more.
Yep. Go back in time and read some Assassin's Blade. And with that, our Coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass.